Well, we're going to start with cutting our onions. These do not have to be really finely chopped. They just don't have to be just chopped at all. So that's about how thick I do them. All right, we got our 6 pounds of onions that are now chopped. Kind of big, but that's okay. We're going to soften them up. 2 half sticks of butter makes 1 stick of butter. So we're going to add 1 stick of butter. Okay, we're going to let that melt, and then we're going to add our onions to that. I've got the heat on medium. Don't want to scorch this, so we're going to take it kind of slow and kind of easy. I also use these pans instead of my cast iron because my wife doesn't like my cast iron on her stove. So I respect that. Just let this melt, and then I'll get my seasonings and we'll get to it. Alright, next we're just going to add our onions to our butter mixture here so we can start sauteing them. I don't worry about them being all clumped up like that because as I put them in the fire and they start sauteing, they will break up into individual pieces. As you see also, I'm doing 2 pans because 6 pounds won't fit in 1 pan. That's about right. So I'm also going to add in my Cajun seasonings. We like ours a little bit spicy, so we're going to spice up our French onion soup with some Cajun seasonings. Now we're going to let this saute until I'm comfortable that the onions are cooked, they're clear, or at least transparent, so I can see through them. And then I'll know that they are prepared, sauteed, ready to go. Okay, things were going good. Here's a little status update. I did add a little more Cajun seasoning to it. Just, like I said, we do like it a little bit spicy. The house is smelling good. It is really smelling good. These onions are sauteing up really, really nicely. While I was waiting, I went ahead and got the jars out. They have previously been through the dishwasher. They are sterilized. They are ready to go. The next step will be to create the actual broth that's going to go in the jars. I'll do that on camera here in a few minutes. Okay, the onions come along really nicely. I've also got my lids now on in a pot over here. The water's coming to a boil. When it gets to a boil, I'll turn it off. So the lids are, the seals are all nice and gummy. Jars are here, and the water is off camera. I will move it on in just a minute. I have already poured 12 cups of water into a nice size boiling pan. That's off camera, but I'll move it on here shortly. Just giving you an update on some of the things that I'm prepping while the onions are still cooking. All right, now what I've done is I've combined both pans of onions. So now this is 6 pounds of onions, chopped up, sautéed, reduced, caramelized, whatever you want to call it. They're ready now to go into the jars. So I'm going to turn that heat off, bring our jars over, and we'll start putting them in the jars. Now for this, I'm going to use a spaghetti scoop. What I'm looking for is 1 pint of onions into this jar. And that's where I'm at. There we go. About 1 pint. So I'm going to fill up all of these jars with these onions, and then we'll mix up our broth. Well, up next is we're going to now mix the broth. And oh, by the way, 6 pounds of onions, that made 9 jars, regular mouth jars. So we now have 9 of these ready to go with 9 pints of onions ready. The next step is to make the broth. This is 12 cups of water. So that's going to mean I need 12 teaspoons of this mixture that we got from Sam's. So we want to make sure that it's about 1 teaspoon per 1 teaspoon per quart. I still didn't say that right. It's 1 teaspoon per cup. So I'm going to have 12 of these. So this is a paste. It is a little bit hard to get out of here, but it sure does make it taste good. So we're going to need 12 of these teaspoons. So let me go ahead and mix this up, and then we'll take it to the next step. Okay, next step. Let's go ladle this in. You want to ladle it in up to the top of the curve of the neck of the jar. That's as far as I go. So I'm going to fill the rest of these jars. Then we'll put the lids on them, seal them with the band, and then they go into the pressure cooker. All right, before you put the lids on, you're going to have to wipe off the lids or the rims of these jars. Some people do it with just a clean cloth, others with the cloth with vinegar. So I'm just going to do it with a clean cloth. You don't want to get any gunk off the top. You want to get any residue, such as the grease or fat that may be there. That will prohibit a good seal. Next thing you're going to do is reach in with your magnetic stick and pull out a lid. Don't do like a rookie mistake that I did and stick your hand in that hot water, because you will know it. Finger tight, that's all you got to do. That's all. It's very simple, very easy. And if you use this, you're not going to get burned by that boiling hot water. The next step will be, the next step will be to take these jars and put into my pressure canner. I do not use a canner on the stove. I don't trust myself. Maybe you do. That's fine. But I have the luxury of working at home. So I work from home, and I'm able to use an automated canner that I will show you in the next stage. This automated canner will allow me the freedom to go work while these are pressure canning, and then I'll just check them on a break or check them at lunch and something like that. They will have to can for 75 to 80 minutes, and then they'll be done. Okay, there's 9 ready to go. Now let's move over to the pressure canner. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is load in 5 of these jars. These regular mouth jars do fit 5 in this pressure canner at one time. So there's 5 jars. Now I want the water to come up to about a quarter to a third of the way up the jars. Not to waste water, I'm going to go ahead and pour in the hot water that I had from the lids. And that's not quite enough, so I'll get some more. Oh, there we go. That's enough water there. Next thing you want to do is pour in a little vinegar. This vinegar will help the hard water not stick to the outside of the jars. That's all there is to that. All right, excuse my reach. The on and off button is just plugging it in. So now it's on. Lid goes on. You have to make sure that the top here is on cook. Now we're going to do a pressure cook. And we're going to increase this up now to 1:20 or hour and 20. That's 80 minutes. The pressure cooker now will do its thing. It's going to heat up, come to pressure, which in my area is about 11 pounds, and then it will cook for 1 hour and 20 minutes. When it's done, the timer will go off, the heat turns off, and the pressure will slowly go down on the pressure cooker to the point where it will allow me to release. Right now, there's no pressure. I can release it. But when it comes up to pressure, this pin locks it, will not allow me to open or shut this lid until the pressure is safe and I'm ready to take this lid off. When I do that, it'll be ready. All this will be done. So stick around. We're at one more thing. I'm going to pull this out and we'll show you the end result. We're getting close. I hear the steam. Now that's locked. I cannot open that lid. It is now solid. The safety mechanisms have kicked in. It will not let me open the lid. And momentarily, that's going to stop moving, and it's going to turn into then 1 hour and 20 minutes as the timer kicks in and counts down. The next thing I'll have to worry about is the timer will go off when the hour and 20 is up, and then I'll know it's done. Okay, here we go. We're going to take the jars out of the pressure cooker. So turn it off. I'm going to test with this knob here to see if there's any steam. There's none. Or it would be, when I turn this, it lets off the steam. So when I release it, I'm going to twist and pull up and then hold this away from me so that the steam will go up away from my body. That would use the jar puller and take these out of the jars. To take the jars out of the cooker. And you'll see they are still hot as blazes right there. Still bubbling and boiling inside. So they are still very hot. There's my 5 jars. Man, things are hot. So as they cool, then the center button at the top will pop back, suck down, and that's what you'll hear maybe before we get too deep into this. It'll do that. Once they're done, they'll look like this. This is one that we did in a prior session. French onion soup. Absolutely great on a cold day. You can have this as your own cup of soup. You can add this to beef or add beef to this and make a really, really good beef soup. And you can also add this to other vegetables. Using this as a broth would really add a lot of flavor to whatever you're cooking. So the good thing is, if they seal properly, then they'll go into our food storage. We'll keep these for for up to 5 years. If they don't seal, whatever they don't seal, we get to eat right away. So we're winners either way. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed watching how we prepare our long-term food storage. We're back to the days of our forefathers when they used canning techniques to prepare food for the upcoming winter. So when they didn't have the vegetables and the fresh fruits and the fish, meats and whatever to eat, we're taking along that same line, preparing ourselves for emergencies, disasters, and just when we want to eat. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, help us build our channel by subscribing to it, and remember to always be ready, be prepared, and be vigilant.